Should the Dallas Cowboys start Dak Prescott even when Tony Romo is fit and clear to play? Let me first of all start by saying, as far as I'm concerned, that Dallas star is a footmat to me. I can't stand the Cowboys. I can't stand the Cowboys 10 times more than I can't stand the Patriots. This is the way it is. NYG all day. That's how I roll. That's how we get down. However, that being said, this question is so ridiculous and it drives me crazy when I turn on the TV or listen to the radio and I hear so-called experts try to justify why it's better if the Cowboys keep their continuity and keep Dak in the lineup. You don't want to upset things. You don't want to disrupt their flow. Nonsense. It's ridiculous. Because let's look at the facts. No matter what you think about Tony Romo and the Dallas Cowboys, at the end of the day, the man has what I like to call assets, right? And his assets are his numbers, the work he has put in over his career, right? The problem we're having with this topic is we live in a rings society now and world. As far as sports are concerned, it's all about the rings, which is ridiculous because, especially with football, because it's such a team game where you have three aspects of it: defense, offense, and special teams. So you can't put the whole thing on a quarterback, but that's a whole other topic. Because it's almost like the argument is that Tony Romo has not earned the right to get his job back when he comes back because Dak is playing so well and the Cowboys are doing so well. Now, exactly why hasn't he earned his right? Give me one good reason. Because he doesn't have rings, right? I mean, we know the untouchables. We know when I talk about Brady here, Roethlisberger, Eli, guys that are active that have got rings, Russell Wilson. We're not talking about those guys. However, why is it that Tony Romo has not built enough assets to get his starting job back? Why? Let's look at the numbers. And you know what? I'm only going to give you two numbers, right? Let's look at career passing touchdowns and career passing yardage, right? Tony Romo, Mr. Tony Romo can't stay on the field. Tony Romo can't stay on the field. 21 in NFL career passing touchdowns. Oh, Tony Romo can't stay on the field. Tony Romo can't stay on the field. 28 NFL career passing yardage. In the history of football, every starting quarterback included, this man, despite the fact that he can't stay on the field, that we all know he's Mr. Tony Get Hurt Romo. We know that's his MO. But despite all of that, this man is still 21 on the career passing touchdown list and 28 on the career yardage list. So exactly how and why has Tony Romo not earned the right to get his job back when he comes back? You see, I'll respect it if a lot of you guys' argument was, listen, I just don't have faith in Romo. I just don't have faith in the fact that the Cowboys can get over that hump with him. Because let's be honest here, the whole reputation of Tony Romo not being able to get it done is because he's still chasing the ghost of that one playoff game where we all know what he did and we all know how he cost his team that ball game. However, if it wasn't for a blown call by an NFL official, right? Catch or no catch. Recently, we all remember that. We could be having a totally different conversation about Tony Romo. You can't tell me that the man who's number 21 on the all-time passing touchdown list and number 28, right? And look at that list. Look at the passing yardage list. If he was playing this season, he'll be up that ladder already. You can't tell me how a man like that has not earned the right to keep his job. Just say you don't believe in him, right? It's like a relationship, right? You've been with somebody for years, but in your heart of hearts, you feel they're not the one. They're not the one. I love them. They treat me good. They treat me well. My stomach is full. I'm eating nice, but she ain't the one. She ain't the one. I can accept that argument. I can accept the argument that you just feel that Tony Romo is not that guy to take them to that next level, right? Because in our culture and in our society and in sports especially, we have the tendency to fall in love with the new hot thing. Dak has not gone through his growing pains yet. And even if he is the superstar we think he is, Romo's almost on his way out. So at least the future is safe. I think the bigger issue here is the fact that everyone is missing, to me, is perhaps Dak Prescott is doing a lot better than people expect and expected for him to do. And part of the reason for the Cowboys' success is because Jason Garrett, because of his fear of ruining things, has decided to keep it simple and has created a system that will allow his young quarterback to thrive, which is something he hasn't done with Romo. So perhaps rather than us having the question, the ridiculous question of if Romo should keep his job or not, the point should be that when Romo does come back, Jason Garrett and the Cowboy staff keep the system that they've created that's working for Dak when Romo comes back. Because the main issue with Romo is, and with the Cowboys has been, especially when they had the abysmal teams, is Romo has had to be just that, a cowboy. The hero at the end of the movie that saves the day when all things break down. And that's been a burden that he's been carrying. However, operating with a system, right, where you give your quarterback and your players the best chance to succeed and you use the personnel you have to your top advantage, right? We've seen just how great that works with the example of one Bill Belichick. Let's look at the Patriots for a second. We're not even going to talk about Tom Brady. We know Tommy Ice is the man, right? But let's look at the Patriots and why it is that they always thrive. Because Bill Belichick has a system, right? It's like anything else, whether you're running a company, whether you're running a sports team, whatever. The importance of having a system where you have personnel that fit that system, as opposed to trying to adjust your system to your personnel. We all know the kind of success this can lead to, right? Like, let's look. Brady down, out, insert Matt Castle. Bang. Success. Welker out. Boom. Insert Julian Edelman. Boom. Success. Right? Look at the Patriots this season. Brady out. Garoppolo in. Success. Garoppolo at. Brissett in. Success. Why? Because of that system. Now, of course, the playbook is not the same as when Brady is playing. However, by operating under an efficient system, with an efficient system that gives your team and your quarterback the best chance to win, we all see the results that has. That's why the Patriots just basically replaced personnel. Basically, what Julian Edelman is now is what Wes Welker was. But what happened to Wes Welker when he left the Patriots? How did that work out for him? And what about Matt Castle? Oh, wow, this guy's so good. He's supposed to be one of the next great ones. How did that work out for KC? You see, because it wasn't so much that those guys were great as it was the system that they were in was great. Right? So if Garrett takes the approach of, okay, when we get Tony Romo back, let's not just go back to the same old, when everything breaks down, be a cowboy, Tony, and bail us out of situations, right? How about we keep the same system we have? The same system we've been running with Dak, let's keep that with Romo. Because let's face it, Jason Garrett is not trying to sit Tony Romo, because Tony Romo is the reason why Jason Garrett still has his job. Because the one get out of jail free card Garrett has always had has been, well, Romo was hurt. So who knows how far they would have gone if Romo was playing, right? We all know damn well that if that weren't the case, Jason Garrett would not be the coach of the Dallas Cowboys to this day. So, like I said, I can understand if you just don't have faith in Romo. That's fine. That's acceptable. But don't try to justify why it is that a man who has put up the numbers he's put up over the years should not get his job back when he comes back. Period. Look at the numbers. I'm hearing everybody making these comments and trying to argue this point, but they're not using numbers to argue it. Where are the numbers to justify it? Look at the numbers and tell me that man shouldn't have a chance to get his job back when he comes back.